Ravens Kickoff 97 is brought to you by your 11 performance-driven Pontiac dealers, home of the brand-new Sunfire, Grand Prix, and Transport, and by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. Now, Ravens Kickoff 97 with Scott Garceau and Keith Mills.
The Ravens kick off year 2 in the final act at Memorial Stadium Saturday night against the New York Giants. Hi, everybody. Scott Garceau and Keith Mills welcoming you to Ravens Kickoff 97. Keith, it was great having NFL football back in Baltimore last year, but I think everybody, including the fans, the team, everybody connected to football in this town, expecting better than 4-12 this year.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly the players, Scott. They've been working hard at Western Maryland College for the last 3 weeks and aiming to right last year's many wrongs, and it's been a long, hot summer so far, and the Ravens are ready to get it on. Now, the Ravens received a major facelift in the offseason. 5 new starters on defense, at least 2 on offense, and a locker room full of free agents and rookies who hope to bring a winner to Baltimore.
Get him up, get him up, get him up, get him up, get him up. Hey, lean over now, lean over, don't stand straight.
Right now we're taking little steps, and that's I think that's how you got to approach this. You know, you start taking giant steps, and all of a sudden you lose a little bit. But I think we've got the right attitude, the right work ethic, and you know, I expect a lot.
Go! Go! Go!
He's called the Goose, and Coach Jacob Burney will turn him loose this year on the Ravens defensive line. Number 98, Tony Siragusa. He's one of several new additions to a defense that must improve if the Ravens hope to also.
Heel.
Number 99, Michael McCrary, comes to Baltimore from Seattle, where his 13.5 sacks tied him last year with Bruce Smith for the AFC lead. Add to that the return of number 79, Larry Webster from drug rehab, and number 90, Rob Burnett, who missed 10 games last year because of injury, and the new-look defensive line has the look of a winner.
I see a hell of a potential, man. I see if we can stay healthy and we can stay together and get the scheme down, we're going to cause a lot of problems. And with the young linebackers we got and you know, the secondary, we should be real good this year.
The obvious thing is to say that we have improved ourselves via the draft and by the free agent market.
But even Ernest Biner and his 14 years of NFL experience can't tell you how many more wins that means. But number 21 likes what he sees in some of the Ravens draft picks. Number 34, Jay Graham, comes from Tennessee and is fighting for a running back job. Number 55, Jamie Sharper, finally ended his holdout and will start at one outside linebacker. Number 20, Kim Herring, is the team's other second-round pick and is fighting for one of the 2 safety jobs. Number 31, special team specialist Rondell Jones, is also up for a starting safety spot opposite Stephon Moore.
He doesn't say special team player on roster as safety. You know, I can play defense, and I want to play more defensively than just special teams. I mean, I like playing special teams, that's no problem, but I want an opportunity also to play defense.
Richard, your job is not to run through. You cannot run through.
And it's Marvin Lewis's defense with Tony Siragusa in the middle and Michael McCrary on the outside, which may hold the key to the season. After all, there's no substitute for experience.
They pay me to play. Part of my job is do what Tony Siragusa does, and hopefully it's like a cancer and it spreads, but a good cancer, one you can get rid of. You know, I just do what I do out there, to try to get out there and, you know, show them by example. You know, I'll try and help guys as much as I can, and, you know, I'm sort of the old guy on the block, it looks like, except for Ernest. Thank God Ernest is on this team.
Thank God Ernest is on the team. Now, Peter Boulware was not in that piece. Quite simply, he's not yet in camp. And Scott, Art Modell will address the Peter Boulware situation later in the show from Westminster.
Well, you know the pass rush is going to be better with Burnett coming back, McCrary in. You know what Goose can do in the middle of that defense. It's going to be a fun bunch to watch. Ted Marchibroda will try to blend all that new talent that Keith talked about in the new defense and turn the Ravens into winners. It's been a while since Baltimore has had an NFL winner. Art Modell and Ted Marchibroda will try to deliver Baltimore fans their first winning season in 20 years. Head coach doesn't need to read the history books. He was calling the shots back in '77.
But the Colts have won the game. It is all over. Baltimore's Memorial Stadium is an outdoor insane asylum.
There's no secret formula here. If the Ravens offense can produce near its 1996 form and the hapless defense comes back from the dead, Ted's Ravens will rock Baltimore.
I think in the defensive line we feel very good about Webster and Mike Frederick being as our backup people. In the secondary, you know, we got Rondell Jones and Kim Herring fighting for a spot, and also by the same token as we got Donnie Brady and Deron Jenkins fighting for a starting spot. So that means that we're going to have good backup people there. And again, I'm going back, we're counting on those linebackers, but I think they're talented linebackers, Scott. Offensively, Quentin has proved himself for this first week to be a guy that we think we can count on. And I think the offense feels good about itself. So I think overall, Scott, that we're a better football team. And something we don't want to forget, and we're going to keep football players this year that will help our special teams. Because I think I myself have been a little lax where I went for a player with a position rather than special teams, and we're going to change that this year.
That's interesting, Keith. We know the defense was going to be try to upgrade it, but a lot of emphasis on special teams, and some of those young players could make the roster because they're good special team players.
Yeah, one thing we've both noticed is that Ted Marchibroda's run a little different camp, a little more physical, a little bit more intense, if that's possible. And maybe he's sending a message to everyone, hey, listen, we've got to be ready on day one because there's no gimmies in the NFL.
Rondell Jones has been with the Broncos for several years. He said this is the toughest camp he's been in. Well, Ted thinks he's got a hungry bunch. If the buffet line in training camp is any indication, he's got it right. After a full day of this, a 300-pound lineman can work up an all-pro appetite. And it's up to Chef Bart to handle these hungry Ravens. It's a big job. You got to feed the Ravens,
That's right? And you got to be on time, and you got to have plenty, and no room for error.
Before they break camp in mid-August, the Ravens will do 1,600 pounds of steak, 2,100 pounds of chicken, 2,500 pounds of potatoes, and they'll wash it down with 750 cases of bottled water. It's not all meat and potatoes. This training table fare has the seal of approval from the team's nutritionist.
We try to have something that's low-fat at every meal, and we try to mark the items so that everyone knows just exactly what's inside and, you know, what they can eat and what they can't.
So if this team's winning, you're going to tell people it's because they're eating right.
That's right. And if they're not winning, well, it wasn't my fault.
And Keith and I have sampled the product. Not bad, right, Keith?
Crab cakes, outstanding.
All right, coming up next, we'll head out to Westminster, where Pro Bowl quarterback Vinny Testaverde will join us.
But first, here's the Ravens' preseason schedule, starting with Saturday night's opener with the Giants. Stay with us.
Chevy Big Value, Big Savings event. And you can get 2.9 APR financing or cash back on the roomy Chevy Lumina. Lumina has more standard safety features for the money than any other 6-passenger car in its class. There's great offers on other outstanding cars and trucks, too.
Saving money has never been so simple and worry-free.
There'll never be a better time to get a 97 Chevy than during the Chevy Big Value, Big Savings event. It's big.
Stephen L. Miles, let's talk about it.
The lawyer was very caring. Office was very professional. They made a bad experience comforting. They took time to explain. Very impressed. Great. Third time we've used you. They're doing a good job over there. These are actual client comments. What else can I say?
Stephen L. Miles, let's talk about it.
Why have so many of your neighbors moved to Oakcrest Village?
The dining is great. I haven't cooked a meal since I've been here.
My children are very happy that we're here.
It's so nice to have a medical center here on the facilities at Oakcrest.
The entrance deposit, the cost of our apartment, is 100% refundable.
I love Oakcrest. I love every day that I have been here.
Call Oakcrest Village today at 410-665-2222.
And welcome back to Ravens Kickoff 97. Keith Mills with Scott Garceau. And Scott, I know the Ravens have some question marks. Every team does, but quarterback is not one of them.
No, they're solid there. Vinny Testaverde is coming off a Pro Bowl season when he threw for nearly 4,200 yards, and the Ravens MVP or quarterback. it as you get ready to kick off this preseason about how you and your team feel coming into the new year?
Well, things are going good. You know, we're very optimistic this year coming into the new year, and we're working hard out here in training camp with two-a-days. And right now we're getting ready for the Giants on Saturday night, and things look pretty good.
Vinny, the big question everybody's asking about the offensive line. You lost a couple of guys in training camp, a couple of off-season defections. You know better than anybody. How have they played?
Well, you know, the offensive line is an area that we've had some changes, and probably out of all the positions that unit has to work together the longest to become a solid unit. So right now they're doing a great job in training camp. A big test will be for them Saturday night, and you know, I have a lot of confidence in those guys. And Quentin Newyear, our center, filling in for Wally Williams, who's injured, is doing a great job out here.
Yeah, Vinny, we just saw a shot of Jonathan Ogden, who replaces Tony Jones, who was a big part of this team, and you lost Steve Everett, but you replaced him with some quality Jeff Blackshear, Leo Goes. What has this, the addition of John to left tackle and some of the new faces meant for you as a quarterback, getting used to them?
You know, like I said, those guys have to still come together as a unit because, you know, John's going from left guard to left tackle, which is new for him this year. Leo Goes is coming in at left guard. He's a new guy. Quentin Newyear's at center. Jeff Blackshear, who did play right guard last year, is now the starting right guard full-time. And the only guy that's at the same position is Orlando Brown. So, you know, those guys have worked very hard along with everyone else on our team. Offensively, things are going well enough to continue to start off where we left last year. And with the improvements on defense with guys like Mike McCrary and Tony Siragusa, you know, we look to a bright season this year in '97.
Vinny, you don't want to point fingers, and you guys never did that last year, but the bottom line is I think you and the rest of the offense would take the kind of year you had on that side of the ball. You were a big part of that, but Derek and Michael and so many guys made big plays on offense last year. You had to be happy with the performance level.
Well, we were happy about it last year, and we have to do the same this year. We have to have guys step up and make big plays. We have to play more consistent as a team than we did a year ago, and I think Ted has brought us in the right direction, and we're doing that, and that's what training camp is all about, to head in that right direction.
Vinny, you said earlier, a matter of fact, you said this to Scott when you began training camp, that you need to improve. How can you improve on those numbers? 33 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards.
Well, you know, the thing about it is we looked at time of possession, and we were one of the last in the league as far as controlling the football. That's a big area when you look at the wins and losses of other teams. They also control the game clock, and that's one area we would like to improve on this year. And if we can get that done, it'll improve our record as well.
How about the running game? Obviously, Bam having him around all year is going to help, but you got some speed. The rookie, Jay Graham, comes in. Give me your impressions of the running game this year versus last year.
You know, I think it's all up to the linemen, the offensive linemen. It depends how they play, and you know, like I said, they're doing a great job, so I think we'll be successful offensively. You know, Jay Graham's a new guy coming in, shows a lot of talent. Of course, we have Bam Morris, and we always can count on Ernest Biner, the old crafty veteran. So we have guys that can come in and play.
Vinny, before we let you go, we want to show them some of the quarterback challenge in case you missed it. I mean, you took on Favre and all those young quarterbacks that can run everywhere. And Keith, how about them winning the speed and accuracy competition? Vinny, we're proud of you.
He is a wonderful athlete.
Carl Lewis out there, Vinny. When did you work on your 40 time this summer?
A great season last year.
Yeah, by the pool in the offseason.
Hey, but you take a lot of pride. You're more than a drop back in the pocket quarterback. I know how hard you work all year long to make yourself as good as you can be.
Well, I just try and do it all, whatever it takes to win. That's what it's all about.
Vinny, you've done everything in the game. Heisman trophies, that's what's left, right? You want that ring.
That's all that's left for me is the ring, and that's what we're shooting for this year.
Vinny, thanks for your time.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Vinny Testaverde out in Westminster. Keith?
Yeah, Scott, a little later we'll go back to Westminster to hear from Ravens owner Art Modell. But first, we're going to take a look at the Ravens' most loyal and loudest fan.
Come on, Vinny, fit it ball! Come on, Marvin, get him on that line.
Remember, if you're strong,
underneath more. Come on, Goose, fill that hole up. That's getting the foot in there. That's getting the foot on the ball. You had a year's rest. Let's get in there and show them.
Toyota wants you to drive a new Camry. Lease your Camry now for only $242 a month with $1,500 down. Your trade could cover the entire down payment, and you get a Camry with air conditioning, cruise control, power windows, locks, and more. Lower your payments to $220 a month with $2,000 down. Your new Camry has anti-lock brakes, a full-size spare, and more. Or you can still buy your Camry for less than last year. So get a new Camry today.
The question I'm asked most about Charlestown Retirement Community is it affordable? The answer, absolutely. You can have all this. Your choice of casual and elegant dining, on-site medical care, and maintenance-free living in your spacious apartment, all for as little as you're spending right now in your house. See for yourself just how affordable Charlestown is. Call me at 410-737-8830.
I know a place.
This is not a country for wimps. We invented the cowboy, the jawbreaker, and the quarterback blitz.
I'll take you there.
And we are rough on our cars. So get a new Chevy Malibu. Your first scheduled tune-up's at 100,000 miles. Engine coolant, 5 years or 150,000 miles. Transmission fluid, forget about it. We're talking the automotive equivalent of Rocky Balboa. The car you knew America could build. The brand new Chevy Malibu.
Oh!
And don't forget, coming up in just a few minutes, another 60 minutes of football. NFL Films breaks down Baltimore's return to the NFL and goes round the league for highlights of the 96 season.
Yeah, Scott, now earlier we showed you all the new talent that's been added to the 97 Ravens. Now, despite their 4-12 record a year ago, there were several Ravens that came up big last year.
You are right, Keith. Most of these players were on the offensive side of the ball, starting with number 12.
I swear I will. Desperate. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, you're really good.
Vinny getting the Joe Namath treatment at camp. He was Pro Bowl good last year. The Ravens' passing game second best in the NFL. Vinny threw for over 4,000 yards, and only Brett Favre threw more TD passes.
My frame of mind right now is great. Like I said, I'm very confident, especially after the year that I had personally. The one thing I have in the back of my mind is I don't want anybody to say Vinny's not working as hard because he went through to the Pro Bowl last year. So I'm out here trying to give it my best effort as I always do.
And when Vinny throws it, he's got a dynamic duo on the catching end. 6'4" Michael Jackson soared in 96, over 1,200 yards worth of passes, and a league-leading 14 TDs.
The different approach that I see as far as offense is concerned this year is that our defense is going to be better, and that's going to allow our 33 points that we can put on the board to win a lot more games this year.
Derek Alexander got Pro Bowl recognition last year, topping the 1,000-yard mark. He was one of the NFL's top big play guys, averaging nearly 18 yards a catch. Friendly but fierce competition drive the Alexander-Jackson combo.
We're always going at it. If he makes a catch, I want to get two. If he gets a touchdown, I want two. And it's vice versa. If I get a catch, he wants more. Yeah. So I think that competition makes us play better.
And over the final 7 games last year, no running back in the AFC played better than Bam Morris. Only Barry Sanders had more rushing yards over the final 7 weeks.
Last year, I had a half a season, not even a half a season, and I contributed and helped the team. This year, I just want to help and show the guys, that I'm ready to play, get their minds right. I came in the minicamp weight heavy, that was a big thing, but now I came in light, and I want the guys to see that I'm ready to play. So let's get our ball on.
The Ravens' offensive line has question marks, but not at the tackles, where 350-pound Orlando Brown and 320-pound Jonathan Ogden have potential to be the best in the NFL.
We got 3 people who started pretty much at least half the season, with Jeff started at least half the season. And, we just have to go out there and play like we know we can, because we know that we have the talent to get it done and the size definitely to get it done.
The Ravens got a scare earlier this week when linebacker Ray Lewis was injured and airlifted to shock trauma. Lewis, who had an outstanding rookie season, is expected to make a full recovery and at age 22 be a team leader.
Good luck to Ray on that recovery. Not much to cheer about on the defense last year, the worst in the NFL, but Stephon Moore, a solid safety, leadership there, Keith. He had over 100 tackles, 64 straight starts. You can count on him. Antonio Langham had a real good second half after a slow start, and with a good pass rush, he could step up and be a top-notch corner.
Yeah, you only hope that the injury bugaboo that hit them last year doesn't rear its ugly head. Already, Wally Williams was injured in April. Jeff Mitchell and Sally Asea were lost early in training camp, but you can only hope that that doesn't happen again. Now, a couple of Ravens have already been honored in the Sports Illustrated Football Insider issue, but I'm sure, Scott, that we're not going to have a parade for Orlando Brown and Benny Thompson.
I don't think so, Keith. I don't think this rates distinguished honors right here, maybe with their teammates, but 150 NFL players picked the nastiest, dirtiest players and called them the felonious 15. Benny, who makes his living on special teams, ranked 14 in that group. Brown, a 350-pound tackle known as Zeus, is number 9 on the dirty hit parade list. And earlier today, we gave this pair a chance to defend themselves. Are they really nasty, dirty guys like Sports Illustrated says they are? Here they are, Benny and Zeus.
I think the worst part about that is I dropped from like 2 to 14. I don't know how that happened, but my thing is that I just go out and do whatever I have to do to get the job done.
I'm punching guys in the throat and hit them in the jaw and leg whipping. I don't talk too much trash, and I ain't about running my mouth. I always tell them, I get you next play.
Hey, if that's what they want to call me, then hey, that's great.
I think they take pride in it.
Oh, definitely.
Zeus, one of the nicest guys, quiet guy off the field, and he was basically talking when a guy gets dirty with him, what he will do to kind of narrow the gap.
Now, all the vets say that Orlando Brown is waiting for Peter Boulware to come in, and then he will personally welcome Peter to camp.
Welcome to camp. Thanks for the holdout. When we come back, Art Modell joins us live from Westminster. He'll tell us all about Peter Boulware and the rest of the Ravens coming up next. Art in the Cart.
Headed down the ocean? Make News Channel 2 part of your travel plans. Every day, Ocean Cam 2 has your exclusive live look at the beach. Plus, each week enjoy live reports from our Ocean City reporter. You'll find out the things to do, places to go, and people to see. When you're beach bound,
every year we come down.
Count on News Channel 2, Baltimore's only station to take you there.
I'm swimsuit model Rebecca Romaine, and this is where I live.
Please don't litter where I live. I want to come home and be positive. Swimsuit models have feelings too, but when you litter, we get mad at you. Please don't litter, don't you care?
I'm so mad I could pull your hair.
Think how pretty the world would be if everyone picked up their mess like you and me.
Join Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile for the Budweiser Concert Series at Merriweather Post Pavilion. Coming from Merriweather and INP, it's the Counting Crows with the Wallflowers and That Dog, Friday, August 1st. Then get ready for Live with Luscious Jackson and Fun Lovin' Criminals, Saturday, August 9th. Tickets still available. Visit any ProTix outlet or call 481-6500 to charge by phone. Join WMAR TV2, Train, and Popeyes for the Budweiser concerts at Merriweather. This Bud's for you.
When you too hot the handle. Every dinner and box of Popeye's famous New Orleans-style chicken is a great value. Now you can handle that, can't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, and friends, the Baltimore Ravens.
Of course, that was 1 year ago when Art Modell moved the Ravens from Cleveland, named them the Ravens. A year later, the Ravens are set to begin their second year in Baltimore, obviously hoping to improve on last year's 4-12 record. Scott?
Yeah, Keith, but they're certainly a huge part of the Baltimore community, and Art Modell joins us live right now from the training camp in Westminster. Art, first of all, I'm sure you're more disappointed about last year's record than anybody, and you've worked hard to try to improve it this offseason.
Well, I'm disappointed, but I take comfort out of the fact that of our eight of our losses came in the fourth period, failure to hold a lead. That we will correct this year.
Art, can you talk about the difference in stability from the franchise from this year compared to last year?
Stability?
Stability in terms of your training camp is well established, your coaching staff well in line, players more acclimated with the city.
You have to remember that last year was an aberrational year. Our players and coaches and our front office people came over from Cleveland. Their wives and children were still in Cleveland. They were buying homes. It was a very unsettling experience, and we didn't have a training camp, which we have now from the get-go, and we settled in on Owings Mills. So everything is coming together, and this is a more stable year, one that holds a lot of promise.
Art, there's certainly some unfinished business, and of course, everybody, your fans, buzzing about Peter Boulware, his holdout. What's the latest on that front?
Apparently there's some dialogue going on. I can't tell you how meaningful it is. I'm hopeful that they will realize that we just have our options are limited and how far we can go with Peter. He belongs in camp. He should be here learning his craft. He never played linebacker before, and he needs to learn it here under NFL conditions.
A couple of days ago, Art, we caught up with Peter. We want to air a short interview and have you respond to it. He's spending his days in Tallahassee, Florida, and he was asked if he was worried about this holdout. Here's his answer.
Yeah, I am worried about falling behind because they do go over a lot every practice, and every practice you miss, I mean, you're missing a lot of defenses. So I know I'm going behind, but I have to do what I have to do. It's a business now, and I have to get my deal done right. It's getting down to preseason games, and I need to be in camp, and I think the team knows that I need to be there. So I think the deal's going to get done pretty soon now.
Art, is there an urgency on both sides to get this thing done with the game coming up Saturday night?
I agree with everything Peter said. He should be here. He has to be here. And we want him here. We want him very much.
Art, obviously moving on to other things, I know you guys have an eye on 97, but also an eye on 98 with the construction of the new stadium and things really happening. What's your sense of the response from the fans in this community on your franchise?
I couldn't be happier with the reception we've gotten from the people in Baltimore and outer regions in Maryland. We have in the making the greatest facility in America that will be ready a year from now, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to this season, the final season of Memorial. But when we get into the new stadium, we're going to be a source of great pride for the people in this town.
Art, a big story in the Sun papers today about the naming rights to the stadium. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it was a condition that we asked to be incorporated in our lease. We have not spoken to anybody specifically about that. We did pay $20 million to the state to help them complete the construction of the new facility, and in exchange we need the revenues to offset that investment, and the naming rights is only a part of it.
Let's talk about football instead of business for a moment.
That's the deal.
Vinny Testaverde and your offense, terrific last year. You feel if you make the improvements that you hope you had with the new people on defense, you can be a contender?
We can be a contender, and I want to talk about Vinny Testaverde. I've never seen him look better than he is this year at training camp, and I want to credit Ted Marchibroda and Don Strock for developing Vinny into a quality quarterback. You got to remember Ted Marchibroda's legacy started with Sonny Jurgensen, Billy Kilmer, Burt Jones, Roman Gabriel, Jim Harbaugh, and developed all of them into premier quarterbacks, and he did the same thing with Vinny last year.
All right, Art, thanks for your time. We'll see you at the stadium Saturday night.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, owner Art Modell out at Westminster. He sounds like he's ready to play.
Very optimistic. He's been out there every day. He's followed this team as closely as anybody, obviously.
Once again this year, News Channel 2 is the place to turn for all your Ravens coverage. New to our coverage this year, the official Ravens pregame show every Sunday from 11 to 11:30. Myself, Lisa Burkhew, Keith Mills will give you an in-depth pregame look at the upcoming game live from the stadium, home and away.
And then once again, it's Ravens Extra every Sunday night at 11:30 p.m. Scott and I will look back at the game with highlights, reaction, and features. That also begins on the opener, Sunday, August 31st. Now, coming up again, as Scott said earlier, a special look at last year's inaugural Ravens season, courtesy of NFL Films.
And that's all for us. Saturday, the Ravens open the preseason schedule against those New York Giants. We'll be there for that. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.
Ravens Kickoff 97 has been brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
Ball just inside the 10. Vinny, short drop. Here comes the pressure. Still on his feet. Now he's going to run. He's at the 10. It's open. 5. Touchdown. Vinny Testaverde. A 9-yard run, and Vinny Testaverde has scored the first touchdown in Raven history. Holbert back to throw. He wants 7. Throwing deep into the end zone. It is intercepted. Ray Lewis has the football. Ray Lewis came out of the sack with the football. Vinny back to throw. In the pocket, steps up, throwing in the end zone for Jackson. He's got it! Yes! Ravens win! Michael Jackson, as Vinny Testaverde throws his 3rd touchdown of the game in a wild, wild football game.
Witness the thrill of